the big talk this weekend, of course, is going to be the status of one Corbin Carroll. And joining us now, the Arizona Republic, AZ Central Sports, Nick Piecoro. Nick, how you doing, man? What's going on today?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on today. Can you give us any update? Have they released anything from the MRI this morning on Carroll's shoulder?
No, nothing yet. Still waiting. I'm guessing we're not going to hear about that until Torey Lovello speaks to reporters in a few hours.
So at least it sounded encouraging last night, according to what you got when you guys were interviewing him in the post game. Do you feel the same? I mean, I know you're not a doctor, but everybody's trying to be one here on radio. So what do you feel? It maybe just it could be nothing. I'm hoping, because it's unfortunate because the success he's having, and with the All-Star break in his backyard, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, the timing stinks for him for sure. I feel like even if it's not a big deal, I don't know. It's hard to see the tests coming back clean, and him still getting out there and playing in the All-Star game, right? I just feel like that happens for the second time in 7 days. They're gonna want to be as cautious as they can be. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, look, you got to assume there's something going on in there, right? I mean, if he felt that, got spooked enough by it for a second time. Watching last night, it did look like, he felt something and it hurt, but then as he was walking off the field, it didn't look to me like he was in tremendous pain. He just looked terrified. He looked scared that something had happened. I guess what's most encouraging to me and just the strangest thing about it is that Torey said to us that they haven't been able to recreate the symptoms.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. If it's just happening on certain swings and you just can't you can't simulate what a swing in a big league game is like. But then again, when he heard it the first time, the previous week, they told us it was like in his setup to a swing, not even on a aggressive cut or anything like that, which is, I don't know. It's all just a little odd. I don't really know what to make of it. You obviously hope for the best. But you gotta wonder, even in the best case scenario, how long they're going to be without him. I'm assuming, at least this weekend, if not, further into the month, a little bit after the All-Star break. In the best case scenario.
At the same time, Nick, can they work on getting him some pretty good contact lenses too? I mean, you think that's something they need to work on too? Because, as you mentioned in your story too, with they got loose, and that pop-up.
They popped out.
Like, that doesn't happen very often. That's just so weird.
I've never had that happen when I'm playing, and I wear contacts when I play.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that was crazy. Hey, Nick.
It is weird.
Go ahead.
I've had that happen. I've had contacts pop out just randomly on a random blink. Wow. I guess I can't say I've ever had it happen while playing sports, but sometimes I've been driving down the road and all of a sudden you take a, I don't know, it seems like a bad blink, and next thing you know, you've got a lens that's kind of messed up and you're a little spooked. So I've had it. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm someone who doesn't wear them, and you two, both of you guys do. So that makes sense. I wouldn't know. I just assumed that's why you have contact glasses. You wear contact lenses. You wear them, and don't wear eyepieces because they fall off.
The only time that I wear my contacts is when I'm going to play sports, because I'm not going to wear. Otherwise, I don't care because I'm old. And I just put my glasses on. Yeah. But if I'm going to go play tennis or basketball or something of that nature, go skiing, I'll wear them skiing. I don't wear them if I'm swimming, but I've never I can never remember having them fall out. Hey, let me just follow up here, Nick, real quick on this story. Do you think there'll be an update before the game tonight against the Pirates?
Yeah, I do. I think we'll get something at some point. I don't know if we're going to have concrete answers, but we'll have something.
Now let's talk about this offense. 15 runs in the last 8 games. They're batting .213 in the last 10 games. What in your mind? What needs to happen to kind of get the bats going again?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, you look back the last week plus. Obviously, Corbin had that shoulder thing the first time, and he missed a few games. Cattell Marte has been dealing with a back thing and has been out of the lineup here and there, and just hasn't been locked in. And that's their two best hitters this year, really. And those two guys have been kind of cold, and it's been kind of bad timing. And then you look around, a lot of the rest of the guys in the lineup aren't swinging it great either. Gurriel and Perdomo. I don't think either Carson Kelly or Gabriel Moreno are going all that good. McCarthy and Alec Thomas. It's just not a great time for this lineup, and that sort of thing happens. I feel like what's been sort of a hallmark of this team for most of the year is that it's had different guys kind of step up for different stretches and just kind of carry the lineup. You think back to, Corbin's obviously done it for stretches. Gurriel was red hot there for, I want to say, most of, May, June, certainly May. There was even a stretch when Dominic Fletcher came up and out of nowhere for, 2 weeks, maybe at least a homestand or so. He was a, game-changing type of hitter. That's kind of been a hallmark of this team, and it's something that good teams have happened to them over the course of the year. It's just, right now it hasn't happened, and they're kind of waiting for that, either one or two guys to kind of step up and get hot and do what they need to do to get the offense back on track.
Nick Piecoro is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Nick, I'm real curious. Every team goes through slumps, especially baseball, when you play 162 games. We've seen the Dodgers go through that. The Padres started off badly, and now they are starting to win. The Giants have been able to maintain. Is this a case in point where this might be the last time that you see the Diamondbacks in first place in the National League West?
I don't know about that. I mean, they're a pretty good team, and they've got themselves a little cushion here. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they hung with them for the rest of the year. But I will say, the schedule is tough. You start looking at what they have coming up. I mean, I've got it here in front of me that this is a weekend here against the Pirates, the below 500 team, but Toronto, Atlanta, Cincinnati, the Giants, the Twins, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Reds again, the Rangers, the Dodgers again, and that's just through August. September isn't a whole lot easier with Baltimore and the Cubs twice and the Mets. I mean, and they finished the season, I think, with the Astros here at home. It's going to be tough. I think that they've done a really good job here these last 6 weeks or so, kind of beating up on some of those, inferior clubs, and that's what you got to do. It does seem like when they've played the tougher teams, they've had a little bit of a harder time, right? I mean, they lost the series to the Red Sox and to the Rays and somebody else, Atlanta, and that's kind of how it goes. I mean, you want to be able to build up a little bit of a cushion against those teams, but you'd also probably feel a little bit better about things if they started winning a few more series here and there against the better clubs. I guess with what they have coming up on the schedule, they're going to have to.
Nick, I think they're fortunate that the rest of the division has not been successful in the last 10 games, other than the Dodgers now win at 6-4 in the last 10. But everybody else in the division is under 500 in the last 10 games. So that's a plus. They got lucky there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's kind of a good year for these guys to be kind of playing the kind of baseball they're playing, right? I mean, it's been well timed, and it's kind of makes you wonder if maybe they shouldn't go pretty hard at the deadline in hopes of adding, because you never know what's going to happen next year. I mean, maybe the Dodgers go sign Shohei Ohtani, right? Maybe the Padres kind of have everything click next year the ways that it hasn't this year, and take off the way that kind of talented roster can. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like these, like you said, I mean, these guys are in a good spot. But yeah, we'll see. And the Padres do seem to be playing a lot better here in these last 5 days. You wonder if it's starting to turn for them.
Finishing up with Nick Piecoro here on Rock Minutia, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. My last one, Nick, as they get closer here, to the trade deadline. Do you expect them to make a move for a closer? And if they don't, do you think Torrey can continue this by doing a closer by committee?
Well, I mean, it's gotten them this far, right?
Yeah. True. Very true.
It hasn't been perfect. I don't mean to suggest that. It's not great. But he's been able to kind of ride the hot hand long enough to make it work. I think they're going to look to add pitching. I don't know for sure that it would be a closer or an eighth inning guy or a starter or what. It could just depend on what's available and what the price is. I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of starting pitching out there. I imagine this is a good time to be, the St. Louis Cardinals with Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery to trade. I think that there's going to be some fierce competition for those guys. We'll see what kind of price the Diamondbacks are going to be willing to pay to get what they want.
D-backs beat writer. Here he's right there, Nick Piecoro. Nick, thank you so much, buddy. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, guys. Take care.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at Nick Piecoro. Of course, Nick, born and raised here, Arizona State. And how great is that to grow up in your town?
Yep.
And you get to work for the local paper.
Isn't that great?
He's very fortunate. Good for him. He does a great job. So I'm glad he's on the beat. Coming up,